Hello, I'm Diane from the Couture Charlee studios in Cambridgeshire. Today I'm going to show you how to make a beach bag. It'll hold all your lovely towels and your bikinis and swimsuits and sun creams, and it's a fairly simple process. It's fully reversible, so you can have it as a simple bag without the patchwork on it or with the patchwork. So now I'll show you how to do that. To make this wonderful beach bag, you need 2 squares for the centres of 40 centimetres by 40 centimetres. You need 4 strips for the side panels of 8 centimetres by 40. You need 2 strips for the bottom of the bag, measuring 54 across and 10 centimetres deep. You then need 2 linings, which is this piece here, which is backed with an interfacing of the same size, and that measurement there is 54 that way and 70 centimetres that way. You then need 2 straps cut like those, and these I've already ironed in the centre. I've turned in the seam allowance and then folded it in half and pressed them, and they're ready to be sewn. The first thing I'm going to sew now is the sides to these sides here to the side panels, and they will go like so. So I'll place that like that on each side of each centre panel, like so, and then machine those on. I'm now going to machine down the 2 side seams. You need to make it so it's 1 centimetre seam allowance will be fine, which is the first mark on my machine. So make sure your thread is at the back of your machine and pulled through, like so, and place your machine there, and off we go. Get into the work. Stitch, or if you have a stop stitch, use that. Take your work from the machine and snip. And do the same on the other side of this one, and do the other sides of the other front and back panel. You now need to press these seams flat so they work well as you go. So put them down like that and have the seam coming into the centre panel. And get your iron and just press them so that both seams are perfectly flat this way. You don't want to press them open because it's not necessary. So, because we're making bags, not clothing. So do this like so. Press them flat like that. Make sure they're both flat. And turn it over, and to give it to a lovely finish, just go from this side as well. Can you see how lovely that finish is? And you've got another one here, keeping it the same way, there, like so. You now need, along this seam here, we're going to put the bottom on because we've now done all the width of the bag. You're now going to put the bottom of the bag to the centre panels and side panels. So put it along the bottom like so, and just put a pin in each end, like that, away from the seam because it doesn't need to be near the seam at all. And then you're going to machine along here with 1 centimetre and do the same with the other panel. You now need to sew along this seam here, which is the bottom of the bag to the rest of the bag. Place it under the foot at your edge, first marking on your seam allowance, which is 1 centimetre. A couple of stitches there, stitches there, and knit along. to the end to see. That stitch, and that's it. Right, take this out. Snip off your ends and these ends at this end and take out your pins. It's only 2, so it's not too bad. And then do the same to the other panel. You now need to press along these seams here and bring them back, and we're going to do a small square in each corner, which will be self-explanatory in a moment. Now going to cut a small square here, which will be 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres on each corner, on each piece of the front and the back. Then I will do the same at the bottom of the linings, which are here. Sorry, those are the linings. I'll show you with this one first. So on the corner, get your ruler or your pattern master, whichever you prefer. I prefer my pattern master. Mark 4 there, like so, and 4 along there. Then line up your centre line on your pattern master here, and you see with the line at the bottom and that line there, so that goes there, and then draw a line down to the other one, keeping the 2 together, move it along, and now do the same to this corner here. Can you see which is the one? Make sure these are flat and they're together. If you need to pin them, I'm okay, but you may need to. Again, mark 4 there, and 4 there, and then if you line up this line here on your pattern master with the line there, the mark, and then that one with there, you'll get a perfect line to where you need to be. And the same there. Move those out of the way for the moment. Or actually what you can do, the easiest way, to save you marking again, is cut these ones out like so. This one here. There we go. And then this one on the opposite side. Like so, and place that. Make sure that your piece is together on this one first. This is your lining with the interfacing. Place that on the top, line it up like so, so they're both together, and the lines are together at the bottom on all of them, otherwise they will miss. Calculate. So that's that one. Do this one now. All together like so. And then you can join up the dots. Just mark it with your pencil. Do it freehand because it's quite straightforward. Okay, take those off. Pop them to one side for the moment, and then ensure those 2 are together at the bottom because they move sometimes, and cut out the squares that you've just drawn. Same on this side. Right, so those are going to be the bottoms of your bag, which we'll show you when we get to them. The next stage is these are your handles. We're going to machine along the open side, and then I'm going to machine along the other edge, just a fraction at the sides there. If you're a beginner, it's probably best to sew along your fold line first, because that will keep this side flat down to be able to sew it, because sometimes it moves. So I'll do the beginner side. If you look, I'm very close to the edge, okay? So right to the edge of this spot here. I'll show you afterwards. Machine along that edge there first. trim your threads, both ends, that end and this end. And now we're going to do the same. See how close I am to the edge, can you see? So now do the same on the other side. You see what that's done now is push those together and kept this side quite flat. So it's quite good if you're a beginner. I mean, you don't have to if you've been sewing for a long time. So just machine along this edge all the way down. Again, trim your ends off. Same with the other end, trim the end off, and do the same with. I've now pinned the lining together, so put the right sides together and match up all the way around, all the way down the side seams. You're not going all the way around it, you're just going down the two side seams. Okay? And just pin it and then machine it 1 centimetre from the edge. Now you just need to machine down the sides, both sides of the lining together. So that working so I don't knock my camera over. Right, off we go. It'll work because it's, I hate it when the thread doesn't go through to the back. Starts to tangle up, that's better. Go back and stitch. Lift it up because it starts to rock a little. That's the end. The back stitch, and I do this. Once you've done down the side seams of your lining, you need to go to the bottom of the bag where the squares are cut out like so, and you're going to sew along the bottom seam here. Do not sew these. I'll show you what to do with those corners in a moment. Just along this seam here. A nice tip to get into, if you're working with a big piece like this, roll up your work so it's easy to manage. So I've rolled it up, can you see? Okay, right, let's pop this under the machine then, like so. It's a lot easier to manage if you roll it up and keep it out of the way. And as I say, just go along the seam, little back stitch. Pull it out and clip your ends. Right. Clip the other ends off as well. These corners here, we're going to create the square base at the bottom. So open them up like that and then match, put them so they go diagonally. Open up the seams at the back there because they're easier to manage if they're open. And take your pins, pin the seams down first because they're the thickest and the bulkiest to get through. If you can't do it, push your pin down on the table. There we go, come through, thank you. It's only a little seam but it will work. I'll show you when it's done how it turns out again. Push it through the thickness and push it on the table. So you can sew across there. Do the same on the other side, like so. Pull it open like that and trim these ends off because we don't want them. Right, pins here away. Right, so you've opened it up like so, and these seams here, open them out so that they sit better. Okay, like so. Right, okay, and then you're going to pin. I've taken the big plate, the big bed, off the machine because I only need a small work area for these seams. Pull this back a little bit, and I'm going to sew across the diagonals here. So you've got much more manoeuvrability with a tiny plate. Okay, so put your needle into the work. And back. And do the same on the other side. I've sewn across the corners. I'm going to turn it inside the right way so that you can see what you've created at the bottom. Let's turn it that way. So you've created a square bottom in effect. So when you put your things in, it will stand up. It's not going to be this tall because it's got a turnover of 10. But we'll now do the same principle on the main part of the bag. So you've got lovely crisp seams there. So that's that. I have now pinned the handles to the bag, to the lining of the bag I should say. To do that, get your bag lining, match up your two side seams first of all like so, and mark the centre of each side by doing that with a pin. Okay, and then the same on this side, your side seams are matched, right there, and again mark the centre of your bag, top of your bag with a pin. Right, now lay your lining flat. Now that's the centre of your bag now. Each side of that you want 5 centimetres. So 5 centimetres there, then that's the edge of that handle, pin the handle, and then 5 centimetres there and pin that handle. And then pin it all the way down to 11.5 centimetres. So mark from there 11.5 and there 11.5, and that will be your finished stitch line. So pin your handles to the bag at 5 centimetres from there, mark 11.5 up to there, and then pin them up that far because that's the fold line. It will become apparent as to what that is later. Then you're going to stitch the handles on. You're going to stitch them along the bottom twice, well 3 times in essence, goes across, backwards, and then to there, then up to the 11.5, across, back down to where you started. And follow, can you see, the stitch line that you've already done on your handles, so you've only really got 1 stitch line. Okay? To stitch your handles on, take the table of your machine off, so you just have the sewing arm. The reason for this is it's much easier to manoeuvre a bag over a small piece than that great big plate. I've also, because it's such a big piece of work, I've rolled the work up as far as I can. Now, to start it, start at handle number 1, open the work up, put that piece underneath so it's out your way. Place your work under the foot. So, and we're going to do 3 across. just to the stitch line that you started earlier. Now go back one. Oh, back. There we go. Leave your needle in your work, raise your foot and turn the work round. Drop your foot back down. Because I've got my pins this way, can you see? I'm going a little bit crossways. You can go over the pins. Now you're just going to stitch up to the pins that we marked earlier at 11.5. Right, see, there's the pins at 11.5. If it's easier, do it by moving it one-handed rather than. Now drop your needle in your work. Again, go round, turn. And go close to the other side, to where the stitching line is again. Again, if it's easier for you, use your hand reel to get you to the stitch line. Leave your needle in the work. Turn your work around, making sure you've got no other layers where they shouldn't be. Sometimes they catch, and you'll sew through layers that you don't want to. Take pins out that have no use to you, or that will get in the way, like these now. And then stitch all the way down the other side, like so. And then do the same on the other side of this one and the other side of the bag. Take your work out of the machine and snip off your ends like so, and then go on to do the other. Now I need to turn the lining the right way. So in other words, the lining now will be inside, and turn this back. So you would have had it like that. You've sewed the handles on now, both sides, so there and there. You now need to turn this to the right way. So turn it by pulling that through, like so. Okay. Pull out your corners at the bottom, there, look. And the bottom there. Then, as you can see, at the top, where we marked the 11.5 with the pins, fold it over at the top like that, so it sits really nicely like that. And then put this to one side for the moment, and that is your lining for your bag, but it can also be reversible, so you've got two bags in one. We're now going to concentrate on the outer part of the bag. Put the right sides together like so. So there you go. You want these two squares at the bottom here in the corners matched up, and just put some pins in the side so that you can machine, and I'll show you where to machine in a moment. So pin them together away from your stitching line, just to keep them flat like so. And at the bottom, where the corners are cut out, and then along the other side, like so. And then we're going to sew. Can you see? That is the side of your bag. You're going to sew all the way along that side seam. Miss out the corners, leave that, stop. So along the bottom seam, miss out the corners, stop here and start there, and finish before at the corner. And turn around again and go down the side. So now we'll sew the main sides of the bag, fronts and back of the bag together. Place your work under the machine and go down the side seams first, just 1 centimetre from the edge. Forward and back at the end. Then take the work from out of the machine and snip off your ends. Pull that back through. And then you see the corner, so we sew to that corner, leaving that corner out. Now we're going to go along the bottom. That's the end, go forwards and back. Snip off your ends. There. And there. 3 threads back. Miss out the corner again. Go to the side. Snip off your ends. Both sides. Like so. Now, move your machine out of the way for a moment, because this is just a little job. So take out your pins that you've pinned the work together with. Move them all. Okay, like so. Now, with your bag, open up your bag like that. These here at the bottom, put them like that, so that you see the sew seam, so that is the corner. Put it down a little bit so you can see it. So that's the corner. You're literally going to close it up like that, pull that there, and then match up the 2 centre seams like so, and put a pin through like that. And then we're going to run a machine stitch across there and do the same on the other side. So again, you've got the corner, put your finger in to pull them open like so, and then match the 2 seams centres together like that, you see, and place a pin in the centre. Now bring your machine back, stand you up again. Those 2 there, now you're going to machine along this edge here. Move that out by the camera. 1 centimetre seam out as always. Some more. Straight the way across. Like so. Snip off your ends and take out your pin. And do the same to the other side. Make sure it's flat. And do work. That's hard. And again, snip off your ends like so. And then move the machine again out of the way. Get your lining of your bag, turn the fold up like so, out of the way. Turn your main side of your bag to the right way in. Poke out your corners like so. See? Then pop your main bag inside the lining. So then match up the side seams here. So you've got right sides to right sides, can you see? So match up the side seams like so. And pin them. And then the same on the other side. Give it a shake so it goes inside the other bag. Like so. There we go. Match up the side seams here, can you see? And then pin all the way around, ready to machine that top seam. But so if you pin all the way around, leaving a gap of about 10 centimetres. If you go between the two handles on one side, it's probably the best thing. This is so that you can turn it. So if we do this, pin this all the way around like so, and just on one side of the bag, here where the handles are, go to the handles, and if you put a pin there, you know to stop. So and then if you start at the other handle, about just a centimetre before the other handle, so we're talking about that distance there, an opening of 9 centimetres. So, and then if you just pin like you would anyway all the way around, the bag, like so, and just carry. Again, remove your plate to do the top seam now we're doing around the bag. Also, roll your work up like we did last time so that you've got space and manoeuvrability. Start at the pins that go upright like so, place it underneath and put it at 1.5 this time on your marker. Then needle into your work and little stitch back and go all the way around, taking your pins out as you go. Keep your work flat and your seams flat. Don't put your fingers underneath your needle. Can you see? Use your scissors. Top of your bag till you come to the next upright pin. Again, push these flat. It just keeps them nice and tidy inside then. Get your pins out as you go. You see, now we're getting to the last right pin. Here you see, and this is where we're going to stop. So go forwards and backwards, and then take your work from under the machine. Snip off your. Your bag is almost complete now. Just make sure you take out all the remaining pins before you start to turn it. You have now like a tiny hole here. See? That you should be able to get your bag through. And actually just turn your bag through the hole like so. If it's too small, like it has done here. I'm feeling that I'd like it a little bit bigger. Just snip along, open it up for a little bit at each side though, so it's even. Where your stitching is, can you see? There. Until you feel comfortable, that's better. So now we're going to pull this back through, the whole thing through here, like so. The whole lot. Through. So you pull one side through first, which is your main, and then the lining all the way through, as well from the bottom. From the bottom of your bag. And pull it like so. Right, so like that. So you now have like a long bag type thing. Right, now you're going to grab, I've left the pins in there where the fold line is, so that I can just take it like that and pop it in, but you've got to hand catch first that piece there. So just get your needle and thread and pin that down like so. This one here, so pin it not going through to the other side, and then hand catch along there. That bit there, can you see? And then once that is pinned and then you've hand caught it, your bag will go inside itself. So I shall hand catch that first and then show you the finished bag. I've now hand caught the bit that was open still. That's all hand catch now there. Just snip off any little loose ends that you might have on your bag. And then where the fold is, do you remember at the top where we sewed at the handles where the pin marks, remember I left the pins in. Turn it, the pins are dropping out. Push your liner inside the bag like so, and get it all nice and poked out like the corners, etc. Inside, give it a flat, hold it at your folds, give it a good shake so it goes down like so. Right, you now have a lovely bag. The final thing that you have to do now is just pin this flat so it stays flat all the way around, and as I say, if you come to any loose little ends anywhere, clip them off. You don't have to put many pins in. Just put them like that so it's all the same all the way around. Perhaps need to pull that down a little bit so it's not sitting completely flat. So, all the way around this side, like so. Pin it down there, a bit closer actually, because you're going to stitch along this edge here. This will enable you to have a reversible bag. Right, so that's all pinned now. Last thing we're going to do now is get the last bit inside so it's all nice and flat, is machine stitch around the top here. Okay. Place your work, again you don't need your flatbed, you want room to be able to go around. Place the top of the bag underneath the foot on the fold edge, and you want to line the edge of the bag with the edge of your foot, because you're only going to do like sort of 1/2 centimetre around the top. Keep your handles out of the bag all the time, and then just go a slight stitch all the way around, as close to the edge as you can go, all the way around the top of your bag. Nice and flat and easy to work. Comes in the seam again now, just do a back stitch and take the work off and snip the ends. Now take the remaining pins out of the bag at the top, and you have a lovely beach bag, or just an ordinary bag, just to take on holiday with you, or to the shops even if you fancy doing that, picnics, etc. It holds quite a lot. It's quite a big bag, give it a nice press. But there you have a beautiful beach bag is what I call it. You can fit all your lovely towels in there, look, plenty of space. And the nice thing about it is completely reversible. So if you fancy a change one day to cupcakes, shake it out and you have a lovely little check bag.